Hey guys, I'm Chris Holt and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk about some of the worst new cars you can buy today. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? You go out and you decide you want to buy a brand new car, reliable, isn't going to give you any issues, but little did you know there's a lot of duds out there on the market. So today in this video, I'll show you guys some of the worst cars to absolutely stay away from. Alright, so we're going to go at this in no particular order. Just stay away from all of these cars, and everyone each has their own reasons why. But to start, let's start off with one that's expensive. It isn't comfortable. It rides terrible. There's just so many things wrong with this car that makes no sense to me. What car am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the Jeep Renegade. It's the small, weird car from Jeep that is thousands of dollars more expensive than the competition, and basically the only thing that it does have going for is its off-road capabilities. And to be honest, you need to spend almost $30,000 for the top of the range off-road models to at all get any prowess with the Jeep Renegade. Starting out, it starts out around $24,000, just a hair shy of $25,000. And when other competitors are starting, probably $3,000 or $4,000 less than them. Cars that I can think of that are better cars are like the Mazda CX-5 and cars like that. This car doesn't get good gas mileage either. I think it only, it doesn't have a diesel option, and it has a really low-powered engine. You have a 1.3 liter turbo motor, I believe, or 2.4 liter motor. Very small motors, and it's not a great driving car, but when people go out and talk to the owners of them, only 45% of the drivers say that they would buy a Jeep Renegade again. That's really low. And on certain tests, it just gets the lowest score out of all these compact SUVs. The only thing I can think of the reason why you'd want to get a Jeep Renegade is to go off-road. But like I said, it's almost $30,000. And for that price, just go out and buy a new Jeep Wrangler. Yeah, it's going to be your base model, not going to have some of the nice creature comforts that this is going to have. But, if you want to go off-road, get an off-road truck. So that's the first on my list. Alright, so on to number 2. Now, this car might be attractive to certain people because of its low price to entry. But that's really deceptive. So what car am I talking about? Well, of course, I'm talking about the Mitsubishi Mirage. Yes, the small price tag starting at under $14,000 for a brand new car is probably the reason that people, even look at it. It's a cheap car, built cheaply, and that's about all that can be said about it. If it were me and you had to buy a brand new car, don't go out and buy a Mitsubishi Mirage. Don't even buy them used. Used, they already start falling apart and all that, just about the second you drive them off the lot. So if you have $14,000 and you got to buy something reliable and cheap and relatively new, go out and buy a Toyota, a Honda, reliable cars. Not only it just being cheap, it was built poorly, and so much so that if it was put out 20 years ago, now this is the year 2000, it would have still been like a middle-of-the-range economy box. It's just not that great. It's super slow, it's small, and it's just unreliable. There's no reason to do this. It's all put together super cheaply, and that's about all I can say. It starts falling apart right as it drives off the lot. So if you got the $14,000 and you just really need a new car, don't buy a Mitsubishi Mirage, even though that is probably one of the cheapest new cars out there. Go out and buy a 2-year-old cheaper car, used car. And you'll be thanking me later, for sure. Don't get the Mitsubishi Mirage, new or used. Don't do it. Alright, so previously I've talked about the first 2 cars were just kind of crappy cars. But that's not the case with this next one. Why? Well, because this next one costs as much as an MP412C McLaren, a Ferrari F430, a Lamborghini Gallardo, cars like that. But it's an SUV. And no, I'm not talking about a G63, a Cayenne, a Turbo. I'm not talking about any of those cars. Well, I am talking about a Tesla Model X. Now, before you start typing in the comments, oh, it's a great car, it's a good car, it's whatever, it's really not the greatest. Why? Because it's really, really unreliable. It's ranked like the least reliable new car out there by a lot of different people. And not only that is you can't just go to the gas station and fill up. You have to go and charge your car. Most people have their chargers in their garage, which is nice, but not everyone has like that or a supercharging station near them, which would be huge. They can charge their car super fast that way. Now, I know it's getting better and better. The supercharging network and all of that is getting better, but it's just really inconvenient for a lot of people. And also with the car, it's super different than all the other ones out there. I mean, just look at the rear Falcon doors. And because of all these like unique and different things, which certain people might like, it has made it a lot less reliable. It's just different from other cars and vehicles out there. But if you do want like an electric vehicle that's like maybe a little bit better, less unreliable, go with the Tesla Model S. Go with the Model 3 if you're trying to save even more money, because these cars start at $80,000, and with options you can get them all the way up to like $125,000. So when I started out, I said cars I'd rather have than the Tesla Model X. Even if it was SUVs, I'd go with the G63, an X5 or X6M. Cars like that. Still great cars that will cost you the same, and you'll end up saving a lot on the back end. So if you're in the market for a new, electric cool car, get a Model S or get like a G63. Just don't go out and buy a Tesla Model X. You'll regret it the second you drive it off of the lot or the store, I guess, Tesla stores. So yeah, that's my pick. Alright, going from the nice car, the Model X, back to not so nice of a car. It's a Fiat 500L. L must have stood for loser, because this car is just not a car you should go out and get. It's very similar to the Jeep Renegade that was mentioned earlier, but it's made by Fiat, which is made by Fiat Chrysler Automotive. So it's kind of the same car, and like they said, it's stiff and just undeveloped. Like they just stopped on certain things and just didn't keep finishing. The pedal responsiveness on the car is super jumpy. I mean, I've driven a couple of these and they're just like, you want to idle everywhere because, hitting the gas is just super jumpy with it. And Consumer Reports put it last in its class. They even quoted saying that it was a huge disappointment. So if you're like me, don't go out and buy a Fiat 500L. Save your money, choose another car, do something else. Just don't go out and buy a Fiat 500L, because not only is it bad now, it's bad used. It's going to be bad in 2 years. It just is falling apart, a piece of crap. Don't buy a Fiat 500L. Alright, this next car comes in as an alternative to the BMW 3 Series and the C-Class from Mercedes. And in my opinion, it's a pretty cool little car. But avoid it. Avoid it, trust me. What car am I talking about? The Alfa Romeo Giulia. So why should you avoid it? I mean, I think it's a cool car, but it's unreliable, and so much so that J.D. Power ranked it 17th in his class in 2019. So that's basically like an award for really bad. It's a great way of saying, yeah, it's not very good. And not only that, not only is it unreliable, it's got a really cramped rear seat and trunk. Like, that's something really important to people that want a sedan, is rear seat room and trunk room. But like, if you just want the sports car aspect, go out and buy a Giulia Quadrifoglio. If you don't care about reliability, do it. I've driven one of those cars, and man, the 2.9 liter V6, twin turbo V6 derived from the Ferrari V8 is silky smooth, a beautiful car. It sounds great, it handles like it's on rails, one of the coolest cars, but don't buy it if you want a reliable car to rival, a BMW 3 Series or a C-Class Mercedes. You're not going to get it. It's going to be way more unreliable, it's not the right size, but So just for that reason, I would say don't go out and buy Alfa Romeo Giulia. Alright, so this next car on this list, I've already mentioned earlier in the video. Remember when I was talking about the Jeep Renegade and saying, oh, if you want to go off-road, buy a Jeep Wrangler? Well, that's true, but the Jeep Wrangler is also one of the worst new cars to buy. So why is that one of the worst cars to buy? Well, it's great for off-roading, and if that's all you're doing, it's great. But if you're trying to live with this every day, it's super unreliable, it's underpowered, and it's just loud on the highway. And if it was me, I mean, I don't think it's a very nice inside, interior vehicle or anything like that, but it has its purpose. Cruising down beaches and tearing up back roads, Jeep Wrangler is a great choice. But for us that drive the car every day and it's just going to be a mall crawler, probably not the one to get. It's expensive too. It's unreliable, slow. There's just not a lot of upsides for an everyday type of car. So if you were like me, don't go out and buy a Jeep Wrangler. Alright, so this next one on the list is a car that I've personally driven a couple times, valeting. And it's one that was very unimpressive in my opinion, and that's coming from someone of the lover of the brand. This car was the Chevy Colorado. Now, for me, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's just really not great. It's unreliable, it's noisy, and one of the biggest pet peeves that I had is when I sat in, the seat was in the pedals and the steering wheel all just weren't adjusted really well to me, and it didn't get that way. So I was wondering if that was just something that I felt or other people did as well. So I looked it up, and other people had this complaint too. The ride is super stiff. There's a couple other big pitfalls for this truck. Something that I would say stay clear of. Now, there is one benefit to it, and that's its fuel economy if you get the diesel engine. That will get really good gas mileage, or relatively good gas mileage for a truck. But if it were me, I probably would stay away from this and get something like a Toyota Tacoma or something a little bit more reliable, a little bit more comfortable, and maybe even cheaper on the wallet. So if you were me, I'd stay away from the Chevy Colorado too. Okay guys, that was my list of the worst new cars to buy right now. Make sure to let me know in the comments below if you've had some bad experiences buying cars or something like that. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you guys like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm trying to come out with new content at least once a week for you guys. So stay tuned for more videos. Let me know what you guys want to see. I've got a 2010 Chevy Camaro and a 2002 Subaru WRX that I will be doing a lot of different videos on here in the near future. Let me know if you want to see any more talking videos like this. And just like that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you guys.